Have you ever wondered why, despite trying everything, your body just refuses to burn fat? Maybe you have cut calories, hit the gym, tried every diet trend out there, and still the scale barely moves. It is frustrating, and honestly, it is not entirely your fault. Today, we are diving deep into 7 surprising things you can do to speed up fat burning. These are not the usual tips you have heard before. No generic advice about drinking more water or eating less junk food. Some of these might completely change the way you think about weight loss and fat adaptation altogether. So if you have been feeling stuck, discouraged, or just plain confused about why your body is not responding, stick around because this could genuinely be the turning point you have been waiting for. Here is the reality most people face. They are stuck running on blood sugar all day long, energy spiking and crashing, never truly tapping into their fat reserves. You wake up tired, reach for something quick, feel a burst of energy, and then crash again an hour later. It is an exhausting cycle that keeps repeating itself. And here is the shocking part. An average thin person carries over 100,000 calories of stored fat in their body. That is an enormous energy reserve just sitting there, completely untouched. Imagine having consistent, steady access to that kind of fuel throughout your entire day. No crashes, no desperate hunger, no brain fog. That is not a fantasy. That is exactly what fat adaptation can do for you, and it is more achievable than you think. Now, before we jump into the 7 tips, it is important to understand what fat adaptation actually means. This is not simply about spending a few days burning ketones or following a low-carb diet for a week. True fat adaptation is a deep metabolic shift, and it takes anywhere from 1 to 3 months for your body to fully make that transition. During that time, your cells, your hormones, and your entire energy system are literally rewiring themselves to prefer fat as their primary fuel source. That might sound like a long time, but here's the good news. There are specific, proven things you can do to speed up that process significantly, cutting weeks off your timeline and making the journey far more comfortable. And that is exactly what this video is all about. So how do you know when you are truly fat adapted? The first sign is that your hunger starts to disappear. You can go longer between meals without feeling desperate for food. Think about that for a moment. No more watching the clock, waiting for your next meal, or feeling irritable because lunch is still 2 hours away. That shift alone is incredibly freeing. The second sign is that carb cravings simply vanish. And if you have ever tried sticking to a diet while battling cravings, you already know how exhausting that battle can be. It feels like fighting your own brain every single day. But when fat adaptation kicks in, those cravings do not just quiet down, they stop showing up entirely. That is when everything starts to feel different. The third sign of fat adaptation is stable and elevated energy levels, and this one is truly remarkable. Fat calories carry more than double the energy of carbohydrates or protein, making fat an incredibly efficient fuel source. Here is something most people never learn in school. Your body was actually designed to run on fat, not glucose around the clock. Many people believe they must constantly eat sugar or carbs to keep their brain functioning, but that is simply not true. Any glucose your brain genuinely needs can be produced internally through a process called gluconeogenesis. Your liver essentially manufactures the exact amount of glucose required, meaning you do not need to eat sugar to fuel your brain at all. This is why fat-adapted people experience steady, reliable energy throughout the entire day without the exhausting crashes. Beyond energy, fat adaptation brings something truly remarkable: enhanced mental clarity. We are talking about sharper focus, better creativity, improved learning ability, and an elevated mood that feels almost effortless to maintain. This is not just about feeling good for a few hours. It is a sustained, consistent state that changes how you experience your entire day. People who are fat adapted often report feeling less anxious and less depressed, and many describe it as finally feeling like themselves again. The brain thrives on ketones, and once your body learns to produce and use them efficiently, the mental fog that so many people accept as normal simply lifts. And on top of that, your physical endurance improves dramatically because you are no longer dependent on limited glucose stores during exercise, giving you a nearly unlimited fuel source to draw from. There are actually 15 factors that influence your ability to burn fat. These include genetics, age, environment, diet, hormones, muscle mass, exercise, stress, nutrition, sleep, meal timing, medications, food chemicals, metabolic rate, and your overall health reserve. Now that is quite a list, and honestly, it can feel overwhelming at first glance. But here is what I want you to do right now. Take a moment and think about which one of these feels hardest for you to personally control. Maybe it is sleep. Maybe it is stress. Maybe it is your hormones or your diet consistency. Whatever it is, that is your focus area. That is not a weakness. That is actually your greatest opportunity. Because that is exactly where your breakthrough is hiding, waiting for you to pay attention to it. Now here is something truly empowering. Even genetics, which most people believe is completely out of their hands, can actually be influenced through a concept called epigenetics. This is not just a theory. Science has confirmed that your daily lifestyle choices, your stress levels, the food you eat, and even your mindset can literally switch genes on or off. Think about that for a moment. You are not a prisoner of your DNA. Your habits are constantly communicating with your biology. So no matter which of those 15 factors feels most overwhelming or most out of reach right now, the truth is, you have far more control than you have ever been told. And here is the most encouraging part. Every single one of those 15 factors can be improved, starting today, with the right knowledge and the right approach. Alright, let us get into the 7 surprising tips. Tip number 1 is about exercise, but probably not in the way you expect. High-intensity interval training is excellent for fat burning and growth hormone stimulation. However, the real benefit does not happen during the workout. It happens during recovery. Overtraining is one of the most overlooked reasons people fail to burn fat. When you train too frequently without allowing your body to fully recover, cortisol stays elevated, insulin resistance worsens, and fat burning shuts down completely. Your body actually needs that downtime to repair, rebuild, and shift into fat-burning mode. More exercise does not always mean more results. Sometimes, doing less is exactly what unlocks the progress you have been chasing for so long. In practice, some people saw zero fat loss exercising 3 days a week, but started burning fat when they dropped to just once a week. That might sound counterintuitive, but the science backs it up completely. One woman exercised daily for an entire year and barely lost a single pound. When her routine was reduced to twice a week and paired with better sleep, she finally started seeing real, measurable results. Her body simply needed more time to recover and respond. The lesson here is powerful and worth repeating. Keep your intensity high, but reduce your frequency. Stop thinking more exercise automatically means more fat loss, because for many people, it actually means less. Prioritize recovery above everything else, because that is where the real fat-burning magic happens, not during the workout itself, but after it. Tip number 2 involves apple cider vinegar before bed. Taking 1 tablespoon in 4 to 6 ounces of water about an hour before sleep can slow down your liver's production of sugar, a process called glyconeogenesis. Now, why does this matter at night specifically? Because your liver is most active in producing sugar while you sleep, and that spike in blood sugar triggers insulin, which shuts down fat burning entirely. The acetic acid in apple cider vinegar helps lower blood sugar levels and directly supports the correction of insulin resistance, which is at the very core of why most people simply cannot burn fat. Think of it as a small but powerful nightly reset for your metabolism. 1 simple tablespoon quietly working while you sleep, helping your body inch closer to becoming a true fat-burning machine. Tip number 3 is about sleep, and there is far more to it than simply getting 8 hours. Taking vitamin D3 with K2 and vitamin B1 before bed can help reset your circadian rhythm and quiet an overactive mind. Two things that directly impact your body's ability to burn fat overnight. A simple breathing technique of slow nasal breathing can help you fall asleep faster and meaningfully reduce cortisol levels while you rest. Lower cortisol means lower insulin, and lower insulin means your body can finally access stored fat. But here is the part most people never hear. Even a short nap during the day, around 20 to 30 minutes, can meaningfully accelerate fat burning when your nighttime sleep is limited. Your body does not care when recovery happens, only that it happens. Tip number 4 is about stress. And this one has a surprising twist. You probably already know that stress raises cortisol, which raises insulin, which blocks fat burning. So managing stress is not optional, it is essential. Long walks in nature help bring cortisol down naturally. Nutritional yeast loaded with B1 helps calm your nervous system from the inside out. Infrared light from sunrises, sunsets, or even sitting beside a campfire actually boosts melatonin and lowers stress hormones in a way that artificial light simply cannot replicate. But here is the twist most people never expect. Doing physical work around your home or yard, like gardening, cleaning, or building something, is actually more effective than formal exercise when it comes to mental relief and stress reduction. Your brain responds differently to purposeful work than it does to a structured workout. Tip number 5 is about consistency with low carbohydrate eating, and this one catches a lot of people off guard. Many people unknowingly sabotage their own progress with small, occasional carb indulgences. A bite here, a treat there, and suddenly your fat burning stalls completely. Here is where it gets really eye-opening. There is a blood test called A1C that reveals your average blood sugar over the past 3 months. It does not lie. It exposes those hidden cheat moments you might have forgotten about or brushed off as harmless. Even a little carb here and there can derail fat adaptation entirely, resetting the process and forcing your body back into sugar-burning mode. Staying truly consistent, not just mostly consistent, is one of the most powerful things you can do to stay in fat-burning mode long-term. Tip number 6 is about strategic fat intake during intermittent fasting. Here is something most people completely overlook when they first start fasting. In the beginning stages, eating more healthy fat at the end of your meals is actually a smart strategy. Why? Because fat keeps you satiated far longer than carbohydrates or protein, which means you can comfortably extend the time between your eating windows. And here is where it gets really powerful. The longer you fast, the less insulin your body produces. Less insulin means your cells gradually become more sensitive to it again. That correction of insulin resistance is the entire foundation of becoming fat adapted. Think of it this way. More fasting time directly equals faster metabolic repair. This single shift can completely change your fat-burning trajectory. However, once you are fat adapted, the strategy shifts in a really important way. You begin reducing added fats like MCT oil, large nut portions, and keto fat bombs. This forces your body to burn its own stored fat reserves instead of relying on dietary fat coming from your meals. Think about that for a second. Your body literally becomes its own fuel source. You never go low fat entirely, and you never drop below 75 grams of fat per day, because fat is still essential for hormones, brain function, and nutrient absorption. But this deliberate adjustment is what separates people who see decent results from those who experience truly transformational body composition changes. It is a subtle shift, but the impact on your fat loss results is anything but subtle. Tip number 7 is about nutrient density, and it comes from a fascinating real-world observation. Many Americans who travel to Europe eat just as much or even more food than they normally would, yet they actually lose weight. So what is going on? European food tends to be far more nutrient dense. It is grown in healthier soil, processed far less, and packed with the micronutrients your body genuinely needs to function at its best. When your body receives adequate vitamins and minerals, it operates more efficiently and burns stored fat far more effectively. This is exactly why dirty keto simply does not work long term. When people focus only on hitting their macros while completely ignoring food quality, they miss the bigger picture. A truly healthy ketogenic lifestyle must be built on nutrient-dense, whole, real foods. So there you have it. 7 surprising strategies to speed up fat burning. From smarter exercise recovery to apple cider vinegar, sleep optimization, stress relief through physical work, carb consistency, strategic fat intake, and nutrient-dense eating. Each one of these can be a game changer on its own. Combined, they can completely transform your metabolism and the way your body uses energy every single day. The best part is, you do not have to tackle all of them at once. Remember those 15 factors we talked about earlier, things like stress, sleep, hormones, diet, and exercise? Think about which one feels like your biggest challenge right now and start there. Small focused changes create real lasting results. One shift at a time is all it takes to get your body burning fat the way it was designed to. Thanks for watching, and until next time.